Oh, hey, how are you doing? I didn't see you there. So I was thinking for a creative way to open up this program, but I think we are stuck with the old traditional way. So welcome to TechPix Savvy on Knowledge On. I know it's been a long gap since my first video, but you all deserve an explanation. I have a very lame explanation for it. So here's the explanation. I was waiting for my beard to grow back. I know it's pretty lame, but the truth was that. So after my first video, I had to take out my beard. I was a little shy to be on camera first. So it took a long time to grow back, and now here I am with my second video. So without any further delay, let's jump into the topic.
Number 1. Deleting temporary files. You know that years of temporary files weighs down the hard disk adversely. This is so because each program has its own temporary data that needs to be stored on the hard disk. Like if you are running a program in the background, it needs some data to be saved in the hard disk for a temporary purpose. Like if it needs to read it back in another few seconds, it will save it in a very temporary way. And these temporary files are not always eliminated. Some applications leave behind these temporary files, and they get stored as unwanted data in the computer. And you might wonder how deleting these temporary files can speed up your computer. But actually what happens is it could speed up temporary file scanning and creation, which is each temporary files need a unique name to save. And when each temporary file is generated, it will try to create a new name which does not match with the existing temporary files. So if there are lots of temporary files, it will take a lot of time to create a new name for itself and save in the hard disk. And so this creation will take a less time if you have no temporary files at all in your computer. And even for the scanning part, it will take less time for traversing. Actually, if there are years of temporary files inside and it needs a temporary file to access, it might take a lot of time to check out all the files and then get the file it requires. In such a way, this is very helpful. And this temporary files elimination takes a lot of time if there are many files already, like I told you previously. So we will now see how to delete these temporary files. So click on Windows plus R and type this %temp% and give enter. Now it shows all the temporary files which are in my desktop. So deleting these temporary files permanently can save a little space, not little. Since I have been deleting it for a few months, I don't have much temporary files inside, so there are only 27. So I will delete it now. And you should know that few temporary files will not get deleted due to running in the background processes. Some background processes might be using this temporary folder for storing, and these cannot be deleted. In such cases, you can simply skip. And deleting these files can actually save some space. If you haven't been deleting this for a long time, then there will be a lots of space saving. And so this is how we can save a little space. The thing is, we have to reduce the disk usage, which means each traversing is costly. If you need to search for something and it needs to traverse the disk for the address location, in such cases you can delete some files, and if you have less data on your disk, it is easy to traverse and get the data back. So our main aim is to eliminate some unwanted disk using the programs and files. So the next step will be clearing browser cache and data. So for this purpose, we will only visit the browser. So opening the browser and going to settings, where you can find options. For Mozilla users, this is the one. And in options, privacy and security, you will have to go for cookies and site data. This is actually what cookies are. You might wonder, cookies is not the one which we eat at grandma's home. And this cookie is a small file that can be used to store informations like auto logins and auto form fills. Like if you logged in Gmail few days ago and you prefer to make the computer remember what your login credentials are, these files will be saved as a cookie. which can be later used. When you go back to Gmail again, they will be used again to auto login yourself. You need not type in your password again, so it will take you to the site directly. So in this case, I have 1 GB of disk space. In this case, what I can do is I can give clear data. So clear data, there is cached web content. Actually, caching is a very useful process only, because each time you have a cached data in your disk, it is easy for the web page to load. But our purpose is to eliminate some disk space, which is we have to clear some disk space for easy traversal and usage. In such cases, we can delete this. This cached web content can create itself back. So you need not worry about the unwanted deleting procedure. So it's now calculating the site data and cache size. And there is one more preference called delete cookies and site data when the Firefox is closed. This is also available in Google Chrome. What you can do is you can simply tick this, because if you think somebody might take your cookie information and use it against you, you can simply click this option, because cookies are not always safe. It is stored in a very local directory which can be retrieved also. If somebody takes access of your computer through any virus or anything, they can simply take the cookie data and use the login information to log in into Google. And Google, stores every data, like where you go, where you come, and what do you do in your mobile, in your computer, what do you search, what YouTube history you have. Everything is stored under Google. If your cookie information is taken away from your computer, it is a little riskier only. So now I have cleared data, and I have cleared almost 1 GB of space. Likewise, if you haven't cleared this for a long time, you can clear it now, so you can have a little more disk space. And the third thing is we have a utility called disk cleanup. Disk clean up. So this is an small utility that is built by the Microsoft right from Windows XP. There is such a feature called this for right from Windows XP, and most of them are not even aware of this. What this can do is it will take a list of unwanted files right in the operating system, and it will show you all these files like thumbnails, temporary files. What we deleted temporary files is still here. If you don't want to go that advanced, you can simply take disk cleanup for temporary files clearing also. And there are things like delivery optimization, everything right from the start to the end, everything is unwanted by the system. And this is a suggestion that you can take out this data, because since I had cleared my data for a few days ago, it's only 47.5 MB for me. But there is one more option in Windows 10 called cleanup system files. Like this system file cleanup will show the Windows updates, like your update has already been done and there are residual files in the disk which needs to be cleared up. In such cases, you can simply click this cleanup system files, and it will calculate the system files, and those are like very big files, not really small, but after every update there will be a few residual files which can be used for a rollback. Rollback is a procedure where if the update fails and you think this new update is annoying me, you can simply roll back the update. Sometimes, not all the time. So these rollback files are saved in the disk, which can occupy some space. In such case, you can simply clean up these system files. But I don't want to do it now. That's a very long procedure. So let us go with this. This is a shorter version. So delete files, that's all. Okay, the procedure is done now. And for number 4, we have disabling startup programs. For disabling startup programs, there are two ways, which means for OS like Windows 8 and before, we have msconfig, which is msconfig.exe. This shows up in the search bar, or even you can go through Windows plus R, msconfig.exe. When this program opens, there is a tab called Startup. So you can go to the startups and you will see some startup programs which are impacting the boot time. But here, since I'm using Windows 10, it asked me to open the task manager to see the startup files. So here I have few startup programs which are really not that impacting. But if you had created any, which means you have installed any programs recently and that are really big and takes lots of RAM and CPU usage, you can simply right click on them and disable. So I will select Realtek HD for my purpose, but this is not really a big startup impact, but I can simply disable it here. If you think this creates a lots of boot time, you can simply disable it. By disabling these programs, you can get a much improved boot up time. This is so because startup programs can this is so because when the Windows boot up, these programs boot along with this Windows. There are many startup programs and services of the operating system which cannot be altered, but you can disable your installed softwares from startup. So this is what we can do. So this will literally improve the boot speed. So I can see that there is only 4.4 seconds of BIOS time for me, which means the boot up took only 4.4 seconds for the computer to boot up from the BIOS screen to the login screen. So this is how you can take this step. And for the fifth step, this is called disk defragmentation. We will have to defragment the disk. Actually, let me explain a little about this fragmentation process. Fragmentation is a process where files that need to be written on the disk are broken into small fragments and are placed in random addresses available for storage. When the program is called, the program needs to call all of its fragments. If they are placed in various locations, it takes time for them to join and display information for you. Which means every file, like if you are working with Windows Word, that is Microsoft Word, and if you want to save a file, sometimes these files will be broken into smaller pieces and they will be saved in the very nearest location available in the disk. In such a way, if the files need to be recalled, which means if you open up the Microsoft Word file document, it will have to traverse every length of the disk to retrieve all the fragments of the file and form it back and show you the output. In such a case, if there is lots of fragmentation, then you will experience a lot of startup time for the application to start, not the boot time. So what we will do is, we will simply type disk defragment. Okay, disk defrag. So click enter. And now we can see that there are two disks, which means the local disk which I have are C and D. So what I should do is, I should first analyze. We should click analyze first and it will analyze the disk for any fragmentation. So I can see that there is 1% fragmentation in my disk. This is because I have an Intel Optane memory in my laptop installed. What happens is, there won't be any fragmentation in the SSDs, the solid state drives, but there will be fragmentation in HDD, the hard disk drives. This is a natural process in hard disk drives and they need to be defragmented for better performance. If the fragmentation is support 10%, you can run this defragmentation utility, and if you think the fragmentation is only about 5% to 8%, then it's not really a necessary process. You can still wait, you can take some more time. But doing this fragmentation will order the files back in its place, and when you try to open the application again, what happens is the traversing time will be reduced, and so these files will be opening up in a very fast, and these files will open up very fast. So it's analyzing now and it will start defragmenting. So I will pause the record for a moment, and when it is totally defragmented, I will show you what happens. After a brief amount of time, the defragmentation process is over, and now we could see that it's only 0% fragmented. Previously I had 1% of fragmentation, which is not really a big problem. You can defragment your disk if it's more than just 10%. This will surely improve your disk usage performance. And with this, I conclude the topic 5 simple ways to improve your PC performance. So repeating these steps once in a month can help improve the PC performance drastically. And if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And thanks for your overwhelming support for these past videos. And we really thank you for your support and love. Signing off is Keshav Jagan for TechFix Savvy and Knowledge On. Thank you.